Hello and welcome to this lecture, which I title The Strategic Planning Framework. The reason for constructing a strategic planning framework is to standardize approaches for identifying, defining, and designating strategic corporate initiatives. The goal is to understand the organization to sufficient depth so as to ultimately be able to determine what projects, if undertaken, would be in the corporation's best future interests and to prioritize those work efforts. The outputs of this framework and the model of the framework design itself will need to be articulated to key corporate stakeholders to gain consensus, both for the methodology being used to identify initiatives to be undertaken and the initiatives that are being further defined to get them designed and packaged into financially quantifiable projects that can be undertaken by the corporation's project delivery teams and personnel. The bottom line as to why this work should be undertaken periodically in an organization, well, first it gets everyone on the same page and allows the corporation to collectively prioritize initiatives and define the initial statements of work for those initiatives. So what I mean by this is that with a collective top-down buy-in on corporate priorities that are needed to obtain collaboration between departments and/or business units, this is much more easily attained through this type of effort. Staff and business unit leaders buy in and commit to these initiatives more easily, and ultimate success corporately is more easily achieved. So now let's take a look at a depiction of what a standard strategic planning framework could look like. At the top of the pyramid, you view the corporate mission, usually defined in words through the development and commitment to a mission statement document. This is collectively agreed to and supported by the corporate leadership body, and from here, all else strategic flows. Business drivers, such as industry forces and stakeholder interests, etc., present both pressure to be addressed and opportunities to be exploited by the corporation. As these elements are looked at, corporate and business unit business visions and operating principles or best practices evolve, and operational business models can be developed. This strategic level of thinking and documenting lead to the development of departmental business unit delivery objectives and performance targets and are guided by the setting of standards within which each business unit will operate. As high-level mission statements, business models, performance targets, standards, etc. are collectively signed off on, it leads to internal analysis efforts to determine where gaps to delivering on business objectives exist. This is often called completing a current systems assessment of the corporation. From this assessment and gap analysis comes the identification of business and IT strategies that need to be delivered on. The strategies defined lead to the definition of business and IT initiatives to be undertaken, each requiring cohesive architectural definition across business units so that interoperability and communication between systems is easily attainable. This will usually require the formal definition of business processes and procedures to be put into place to make the whole corporate engine run smoothly. Defined initiatives lead to the development of more detailed statements of work and implementable project summaries that can be quantified in terms of project plans, project approaches, dependencies, resourcing approaches and staffing, cost estimates, and business cases were warranted. In the next installment of this 5-part course series, architecting, initiative, and project definition approaches will be discussed in greater detail. In any event, this covers off in overview the concept of the strategic planning framework and how corporations often use this or a similar top-down approach to business strategy development. That's all for this lecture. Bye for now.